Hey guys, want to do a quick video. If you have your AC, when you turn on your AC, and this is actually on a 2012 328i, basically the F30 chassis. A couple of days ago, back from vacation. The car was turned off, was off for about a week or so. Came back, turned it on, had this fluttering noise in the vents in the passenger side front. And the higher I put the AC fan, the more noisy that it would be. Sound like there was something in there. And then also when I put it, let's say 75% and higher, it started vibrating the entire car. The whole center console sounded like a very strong mechanical vibration, and it was pretty scary. So I was hoping there was going to be a big repair. So I decided, you know what, I looked at a couple of videos online, and I only saw about 2 or 3 of them that were okay. They didn't really tell you how to take all this stuff apart. So I wanted to take advantage of the fact that I have some of this taken apart, and maybe I could help someone else out that has the same issue. And I'll add to the video as well so that you can see the order of what the parts are that you need to take off, and the screws and where they are and stuff. Overall, it's not that difficult to get into this, but you have to have the right tools. I just spent about the last hour trying to get one bolt off because I didn't have the right tools. So if you do have them, and I'll show you which ones you need, it'd be a lot easier. But I just want to take advantage of the fact that I just took this off, and I want you to see how bad this actually is in here. So let's put this light in here. Let's see if I can turn this little guy on. I want you to see how bad this is in here. So this is the blower motor. This is the first time I've ever opened this. I've had the car for about a year now, but I want you to see how bad that is. That's probably what's causing the issue. There was one video that mentioned the same symptoms that my car had, and they said that you probably have to just clean it out. I was skeptical. It sounded like something was in there, but I wasn't too sure if that would be the case. But just seeing how bad that is, I'm sure that's gonna help tremendously. In fact, I've always had this weird flutter noise when I had the car. When I first got the car, it was like a whirring noise, like when I would turn on the fan. You may have this as well too. And I just figured it was normal because the sound was the same all the time. It was just whatever. I didn't really pay attention to it too much until I had these really bad symptoms a couple days ago. So I'm going to add to the video so you can see how to take everything apart. But I just want to take advantage of the fact that I have all this stuff open so you can see how bad this actually could get, even though you have all these plastic panels and screws and stuff holding all this stuff closed. I would have never thought that would be that bad. That's insane. So I'll probably put like a screen on there or something that you have normally, like in screen enclosures. I have an extra piece back there. I'll probably take some and cover that up. I've seen a couple other people do that in some other videos. So I'll probably do that, and hopefully that should be able to take care of it without having to remove the whole blower motor, because that would be a lot more of a pain. But that's insane how dirty that is. So I'll add to the video in a little bit. So I want to show you what I was talking about the screen. So I grabbed some of this regular screen that you can get. It's used for like windows or pool enclosures and that sort of thing. Initially I was thinking about maybe gluing it around, cutting it to shape and gluing it around, but I figure it's easier to do something like this. As long as it's held down well. I guess you wouldn't really have to mess around with gluing something down. So I have it something like this. You can see how it's kind of wrapped around here. So this is basically a mesh to keep both large and small leaves and dust and dirt out of the vent. And you can see here that I actually cleaned it out. It's much cleaner. I was looking to see how I would remove the blower motor. To be honest, I don't know how I would even do that once everything was already removed. Just looking around, I mean, I don't know how else to take that out. I've seen people remove it or have it removed, but I haven't seen any videos of how to remove it. The only thing I can see here is this bolt here, but it looks like all this stuff is kind of held down by these things here. So I don't know realistically how that would be removed, unless it needs to get removed by like under the glove compartment or something, but it seems like all the other videos I've seen, they had it taken out through the front. But yeah, I would imagine something like this is more than enough to stop that from happening again. Actually took pictures of what I removed, but just so you can see, it looks basically like a bird's nest or something. That plus all this little stuff that I pulled out, which is incredible how much stuff can get caught in there. Even though all those panels are keeping everything sealed, but something like that should do it. Okay, so I want to go over just a couple little things that I did, some pieces you'll have to remove. Overall, it's very, very simple process. All I did was remove this little guy right here. You obviously see that somewhere, something like that, when you pop open your hood. And then the only other second piece, panel, plastic panel that I took off, actually third one, because this actually moved this one. So the first thing you're going to want to do after you pop this guy off is loosen some of these bolts here, and these are hexes. So these guys right here, so I removed a couple of them. So all of these I removed, I loosened, and then to get this out completely so you can move it up and down, it comes out from this little area here, and then you can pull this rubber piece back and pop this out, just so you can have more wiggle room here, so you can see what you're doing and have access to the blower fan. And then after that, I removed this little guy right here. Something to note, I was going to take this off, but I didn't have to, so I would just leave that on to be simpler, so you don't have to take that off later, and I didn't even have to pop this out of here. So you could just get this out of the way. Actually, yeah, go ahead and pop these out of here. I actually did take them off, so you can get that out of the way. Well, this is interesting. So once I did that, let me just pop these out really quickly, just so I can have better access and show you what I was doing. So the only two bolts you have to take off for this panel that I just removed here is this little guy right here. It's under the mesh that I put. That guy right there. And then there's another bolt right here. Now this one was really annoying because there was no clearance between this corner here and this. The plastic piece sticks out and doesn't let you get in here. So what I did was, and just so that you know what tool you'll need, the smallest one I had was this little guy, was 7/16. Let me see if you can see it. 7/16. You'll need a little bit smaller than that to get that bolt out, and it looks like this. That's the bolt that you'll have to take out. So there's one of those bolts here, and one of them there that I mentioned earlier. This one was a little easier. You can use a socket wrench for that one. You'll probably need an extender. I didn't have one. Luckily mine was loose, so I just did a little bit of a turn, and I was actually able to take it out with my fingers, which is great. And this one took me like an hour to take off. I used tons of different tools, like 7 different little needle nose pliers and stuff, and I wasn't able to take it out. So you'll need one of these guys that I showed you earlier. That's a little smaller. This is what you want to do it right, just smaller, something smaller than 7/16. I actually was able to find something like this. It came with some tool or set or some thing that I built a long time ago. Luckily I found this one was the perfect size. Actually it was a little bit worn out here in the edges, so once the bolt got too tight, it kind of just started spinning, so I had to kind of angle it and pull it. So that's what you're going to want to use here to make it a lot easier for yourself. And here in this little corner, there's a little plastic cap that you'll pop out. You can use like a flathead screwdriver and pop that right out. One thing I will say is I saw a couple videos where they were talking about removing or disconnecting the battery. I was iffy about it because I didn't know how big the project was going to be. I just had like rubber gloves on and everything was fine. I was touching all of these bolts and stuff and everything was cool. But at one point I switched over to this little guy right here. And then I got a little spark. I started getting a couple sparks on the bolts that I was trying to take off here. I touched this side with this guy, and I got a couple bolts. I was like, all right, time to disconnect the battery. So what I did was, just so you know, and I highly recommend you do this as well, go to the back of your car and your trunk and disconnect the negative terminal down there. And I wrapped it around in the towel, and I made sure that this was under, so that on the process of removing that terminal, it didn't touch the body at all. That's what I would do before you start messing around too much, just for safety and so you don't fry your electrical system. And I put a pair of jeans here just to stop this from closing in case I completely forgot and I closed the lid. Do not close your lid. As you can see, there is nowhere to enter your key in to open your trunk, and everything works through your electrical system. So if you close your hood when this is disconnected, you're going to be locked out of your car. You're going to be super screwed. So just make sure that you don't close the hood or the trunk lid, and disconnect the terminal so you can do some stuff a little bit more safely here and not have to worry too much. But overall, the entire process is simple. Just loosen some of these panels, pop that out of the corner over there, and then that's after you've removed this already, and that's super simple to take out. And then just remove that bolt there and that bolt over there and the little plastic cap here, and that's pretty much it. Then you'll have access to the blower fan. You can see if you have leaves and dirt in there at all or not, but I haven't tested it out yet. I'm gonna put everything back together, connect the terminal, and then see how it sounds and let you know if that was the issue. I'm pretty sure that was the issue based off of some other videos, and it just makes sense that it would be, just from the sound that it was making. And I just imagined that the amount of leaves and stuff that was stuck in there was actually jamming the blower fan from spinning, and maybe that's what was causing the entire vibration in the center console. Maybe the fan couldn't spin, and it was causing that vibration, which was pretty loud and very, very, very noticeable. So I'll get back to you and see if that was what was causing the issue. So guys, I just finished putting everything back together, and it sounds amazing. I don't think this car has been this comfortable since even way before I bought it. That car's been bad really for a long time. I just want you to see if you can hear the blower fan from outside of the car. See if you can hear this. I've never been able to hear the blower fan from outside of the car, ever. All that stuff that's on the floor there was stopping it from spinning properly. It just got so clogged up that it didn't even work anymore. And barely any airflow was coming in, and all the entire center console was vibrating like crazy. When I would put the fan anywhere past halfway, and even on low, you could hear the rustling and some noise coming from up here, from the inside of the car. But I want you to see how it sounds from the inside of the car. I just realized that when I sat inside and I put the fan completely on high, I no longer hear that whirring noise that I heard before, and the amount of air coming in through the vents is crazy. I've never actually had that much air coming in. It feels really cold, and it's a lot more air in your face than it's ever been, which is awesome. And one thing to note also too, I always had this weird smell that would come in when I would turn on the AC unit, and it lasts for a couple seconds. It would smell like kind of like a wet old rag, like something damp, and then it would go away after a couple seconds. But I just turned it on for the first time. The air's coming in really nice, and no smell, which is awesome. So I kind of killed two birds with one stone. I think what I'll do next is probably change the cabin filter, which I learned that is, by the way, if you're interested, is under the glove compartment. There's a couple videos on it on YouTube for that. That's probably my next bet. But and if you could tell, my headlights are really, really bright. Really bright. I actually got the vehicle coded, so these little guys don't turn on at night, which I really wanted because I really disliked the way it looked. The amber bulb, thought it looked kind of cheapy. And the HIDs, if the camera would allow me to see it, the angel eyes actually stay on, and they're actually much brighter by default. They are on 8%, so I increase the brightness of them, and they stay on even when the headlamps turn on at night. But you can get that coded, and if you have any questions on that, let me know. I know the guy that does it, and perhaps he can hook you up doing it remotely. But hope that helped, and yeah, I would recommend it if you've never done this before and you've had your vehicle for a while and you can't hear your blower fan from outside. It's probably clogged, so you might want to clean that up. I hope that helped. Alright guys, see you in the next video.